out to him the nose guard.
Episode of the podcast. My name is Irvin Godinez, and unfortunately we do not have Cole in today. He called me this morning telling me he was sick and just couldn't make it, but he just wanted me to let you guys know he wanted to be here, and he's sorry he couldn't make it.
Hey, well, tell him we hope he feels better. We hope he feels better. We wish he was here.
So today we have two incredible guests. They're both from Jonathan Alder, and I'll introduce my first guest to the left here. He was the CBC Offensive Player of the Year. He had a total of 60 career touchdowns. He is a Jonathan Alder leading rusher with 6,000 yards. He made the All-State team 3 times and is an Ashland commit. Let's welcome Cameron Jewell.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. And then we also have his teammate to his left. He has made the All-Ohio first team. He has made first team All-District and first team All-CBC twice, and he is also an Ashland commit. Let's welcome Andrew.
Yes, thanks for having me out, guys.
Of course. So, boys, let's just kind of get down to the beginning of it. So, real quick before that, thank you guys for coming on. I know it was an hour drive, so I appreciate you.
It's awesome. We appreciate you having us on. This is a pretty sweet thing for us to be doing. So
that's awesome. So, I want to talk a little bit about where it all started. And like we talked before, I did a little bit of my research, trying to do my best to just get the best questions out there.
Yeah.
You were talking about on a podcast or a school show that your grandpa got you into lifting and he kind of motivated you and pushed you. And I just kind of and you also mentioned that he played D1 football. And my question to you is, do you know where he played at?
Yeah, he played at Kent State.
Awesome.
He was an All-Ohio guy. He was a football track guy, and he was pretty recruited pretty heavily out of high school, and he ended up playing at Kent State. He had a pretty solid career there. He put up I think he had a 1,000-yard season. He was a baller though.
That's
he
insane.
Was a baller.
Yeah.
So.
Did your dad play ball at all? Or
nah, my dad was more of a basketball player.
Okay,
he walked on at Kentucky, but he ended up giving it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's so cool.
He was good
to make it on there. Yeah. Andrew, what about you? Did you have any family members go and play ball at the college level?
None. So my older brother played at Ashland for 2 years, but he's not there anymore. And then my dad was an All-Ohio, football player.
Right. How much older is your brother than you?
2 years.
Just by 2 years.
Yeah.
So did he go to school with you then? Jonathan Alder?
My sophomore year was his senior year.
Awesome. So how was it kind of like playing with him?
It was the most fun I've had playing football, but it was also the worst because he was always better than me.
What did he play?
He was a running back.
He was when I came in. Will was his older brother. He was the starting running back when I first came in. So I was playing receiver when I first got to Alder.
Gotcha.
And I had always been a running back, but because he had that position unlocked, I was playing backup to him. And he ended up getting hurt, but dude, I learned so much from his older brother.
Awesome.
He was the one who he helped me elevate my game to the next level. He taught me so much.
Yeah. What's his name?
Will Heisler.
Will Heisler. Yep.
That's awesome.
Will Heisler was a dog.
Back in the day.
So you said he was playing or is still playing?
He was playing. He's not playing anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just kind of talk to me. We'll kind of go to Cam and then Andrew. So besides your grandpa starting you off with the lifting part, so what just kind of started football for you?
Dude, I've really been playing ball, since I can remember. I remember even playing flag football back when I lived in Reynoldsburg, and I've always just stuck with it. It was a game that I fell in love with. I just love the team aspect and the physicality of it, and I just always loved playing the game since I was young. And then when I got to high school and I realized this is gonna help me pay for college and all that kind of stuff, it was this, I just loved it. So I've always been into it, and it's always been a dream of mine to get to the next level to play.
That's awesome,
so
man.
Being able to actually make my dreams a reality, it's always been that's been my whole goal. So
right, I'm
and
sure.
now I'm doing it, so it's a pretty surreal feeling.
That's awesome. What about you, Andrew?
I started the same thing, flag football. My dad was always my coach because he just loved football.
Right.
And then I always played, and we did not have great 7th and 8th grade coaches, and I really started to dislike it. And then freshman year, I really started to like it again. And then actually sophomore year, I didn't start or whatever.
Right.
And I told the coaches I wasn't going to play football anymore, and then I was done, and I was going to be a professional lacrosse player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I quickly learned that I was not built for lacrosse. But it definitely changed me a lot. Me and Cam got in the weight room after that season. that was probably some of the hardest work I've ever put in for a sport. Like we were.
This kid used to be the biggest softy. He was the biggest softy, and I used to. I'd get on him all the time, and dude, just over like the course of like winter, like going into his junior year. Dude, he put on it's solid muscle. Like he's big.
Yeah, I was about to say, it don't look like he was ever soft to me.
He wasn't always like that, especially when I first got to Alder. But this guy works so much harder than most of the people that I know.
That's awesome.
But he's a dog.
I can already tell you guys got a pretty close bond, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
We were talking about that on the way here. He was like, what if they ask us about what our relationship off the field is like? And I was like, oh, we listened to this one song. It's No One by Alicia Keys.
Oh, we got our own little song. We were jamming out
time to the gym.
Oh,
That's pretty fun.
It's a great song, by the
Will
way.
you tell me a little bit more about the lacrosse? Like, when did you start that? When did you stop playing?
So I played lacrosse from like 3rd or 4th grade all the way up until sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
And I played. I really liked it. We didn't have our 8th grade season because of COVID. And then freshman year I lettered. I was like I started most of the games. And I was like, man, like I really love lacrosse. Like this is gonna be my sport. And then I really started lifting in between freshman and sophomore year. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go off football really hard, try it. And then I didn't start. And I was like, all right, lacrosse is my deal. And then sophomore year, it wasn't the same. And I kind of decided to let that go because I was doing 5 a.m. football lifts, and then I would go to school, and then as soon as I got out of school, I went to rugby practice, and then as soon as I got out of rugby practice, I went straight to lacrosse, and like I was like, I had shin splints, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Man, I love that work ethic, man.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people you will meet will ever have something like that, so it's pretty awesome. So, you're talking about how there was a point in time where Cam was pushing you, and a point in time where your grandpa was pushing you. So is there anyone else in your life that was just making sure you were motivated or making sure that type of work ethic was instilled in both your guys' lives?
Yeah, there's been plenty of people that I've came across that are that want to see me do well, and those are people that that care about you. Like my mom, she's pushing me every single day, and to like be my best. All my coaches, even all of my teammates, they all want to see us do great, and they want to see us go on to even bigger and better things. So. Everybody that's around us, they want to see us do good. So it's a constant thing of just everybody wanting to see us win, and we got to put in the effort to get better every day, and that's what we do. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
We definitely had a lot of people because we had a new head coach our sophomore year.
Yeah,
and that was a complete flip of our whole entire the way we process things. Previously, it was more like we're gonna have the best skilled guys out there. And then it became we're going to put in all this work and become the best athletes versus just skill, which I think in 4, 5, 6 years from now will be insane. But
right.
It was definitely, we had a rough patch there, but I think with what we had, we turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of our coaches that we have around us, like you said, we had a new head coach come in, and that was the first year I came in, so we all got a really close bond with all of them. And they pushed us hard. All those 5 a.m. lifts, dude. They were rough some days. They were rough, but you know what? It all paid off, and not only just Beef and I, but all of our teammates. We got so much better, so much better.
And I think we were able to walk into a leadership role more because starting our sophomore year, we were the guys in the weight room. We're lifting the most weight, we're going the hardest, and it was at 5 a.m. Everybody else is wanting to be asleep, and we're over there screaming, yelling, hooping and hollering.
We've always been like that. Beef and I have always been the guys. It'll be 5:30 in the morning. Everybody walks into because we always go into the basketball gym to get our stretches and stuff in, and we come in just yelling and just bringing all the energy, and we've always been the energy guys over in the weight room, and it gets everyone else up and going around you. So being able to bring the energy every day and kind of be that leader to get everybody going, it's a pretty important role, and I think that it played a huge role in how our off season went. So
I think you guys always need the personalities like that in the locker room, the weight room, whatever it may be, just because if everyone's down, it's just not the same kind of energy. So. I can definitely really appreciate that type of stuff. So would you guys say you guys were the captains or the leaders of the team?
Yeah. He was a team captain. I wasn't a team captain this year, but everybody knew their role. Everybody knew who they should look to if they need advice or if they need anything. But
I think Deion Sanders, how he has like the captains and the dogs. Like,
Right.
Yeah, that's
got,
that's kind of how our system was a
Okay,
little bit
cool.
this year.
Our captains were less of like they're gonna rip you. They're more like lead by example. Whereas Cam was more like a you need to lock like you.
Some more vocal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
we
like
were
that.
more the captains were more like the kids who just did everything right. Like
Right,
And
just
I
by
tried to kind of
example.
play both worlds, but I didn't have quite the reach that Cam had with the boys.
That's awesome. So Cam, I want to go back to you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So you started at West Jefferson, is that right? So can you
Yep.
just kind of talk about how long you were there for, and then what that switch was like to Alder?
So I was at West Jeff from first grade all the way until the springtime of my freshman year.
Wow.
So I grew up pretty much my whole life in West Jeff.
Yeah.
It's a great town. Love the people there. You know, I still hang out with all my guys from there, and the program that they got going on over there, you know, it taught me so much. Just about like just being a leader, because we used to have these mentor meetings and leadership meetings all the time, and you know, there was so much that I actually like learned from that. You know, just hard work and discipline, and you know, I love all my guys over there, and honestly, if it wasn't for them, like I don't know where I would be today. And so I always stay in contact with all my old coaches, all my old friends. But then when I switched over to Alder, it was definitely a switch, because you know, when I was at West Jeff, it's a very small town. Everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows each other's business. Everybody knows each other's families. Like it's all like one huge friend group. And when I got to Alder, it was definitely,
It was a rude awakening.
Oh, it was a rude awakening at first.
In what way?
Oh, dude.
He got. There was a lot of picking on him.
Oh,
And I remember
It was bad.
one of his good friends, who's like a kind of a friend of mine from the fair.
Yeah.
She texted me and she's like, I don't know what's going on over there, but you guys need to like be nicer to him. And I was like, I didn't know.
When I first got to Alder, it was over like because I was like kind of blown up on TikTok at the time.
Okay.
But I got bullied over it for the first little bit, and then sophomore year came around, football happened, and
people realized
Kind
it
of
wasn't.
respected you a little
people
more.
started to switch up a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely was just different being at Alder, because you know, not everybody knows each other. I don't know everybody at my
Right.
school,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't know every friend group's business, and you know, it's just bigger. It's just a different kind of feeling around. But you know, I like it. I always say that I'm thankful that I moved to Alder because of the opportunity, but I always miss the people at West Jeff, because all
Right.
those guys are my day ones, and there's some really good athletes and some really, really good people out there.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I miss it. But you know what? I'm here now. I'm at Alder. So
Can we talk a little bit more about, you said when you got there, people weren't the nicest to you.
Yeah.
So what was kind of that thing that got you out of that tough patch right there? Like mentally, how were you feeling, and how did you get over that?
yeah, honestly, mentally, I wasn't in like the best spot, and you know, it's hard being like the new kid coming into a new school, and like immediately it seemed like everybody knew me and nobody was like really giving me a chance. So mentally, I wasn't doing great. I was a little depressed, and it was a struggle. And but I surrounded myself with. I had a good friend. His name's Brevin, who ended up transferring over to Marysville,
Okay.
and he played quarterback over there. And Brevin helped out a lot, and you know, he helped me with everything. He put me on with a bunch of different people, and you know, he kind of gave me like a little group to hang out with. And eventually, I found my ways. And but
I remember sitting in English class freshman year. I'm sitting in the back class. I'm looking around, and then I get a notification. It says Cam Jewell on Snapchat, and he sends me doesn't talk to me. The first thing he sends me is the shark cut out like a
what was it?
the like shark where you're like flexing on the shark's body. And I'm like, what is wrong with this?
It's weird, man.
I'm like, that was not an introduction.
It was weird.
Mrs. Timber's
I
class.
used to be a weird kid, man. And I've changed so much since freshman year, but you know what? It's been good. Beef always tells me, we always joke around this. He always tells me that he used to hate me when I first got to Alder, which I think is a lie.
I sent him a TikTok the other day. It was like the best friends come with the two people who hate each other to start with.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was, though? When you did get there, why do you think that was kind of like your first impression of him?
Well,
He was just
our
on the
freshman
Cam Jewell
year,
hate train. He
our
was on the
freshman
hate
year, we
train.
played him in football.
Okay.
This too.
And I'm pretty sure he ran for like 18 touchdowns. And
Oh, okay.
he,
Okay.
the one day, or the one play I remember specifically, we're like playing. I'm playing D line. You know,
I already know what
I
you're
make a
about to
little
say.
move. I kind of get there, and I just see him take off out the edge, and I'm looking over, and then our fastest kid at the time was Johan Beckel, and he's going after him, and I just see Cam leave him 20 yards behind, and I'm like, and then he goes in the touchdown, and he goes, I'm going D1! And I'm like, all right.
So lit.
I hate this kid.
Oh, it was so funny, but it was so fun. That's still like if I look back into my freshman year while I'm at West Jeff, that was by far my favorite game, and I get to hold it against Huddle. I beat y'all. Yeah. I beat y'all.
So I guess I'm a little confused because right, it seems like people at Alder already knew who you were then.
Yeah.
So I mean, did you guys not know you guys were getting a ball player? Because it sounds like you guys knew it.
I don't think people hated him because he was like a football player. It was like
it was more like my internet stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
That's what
I had
people made fun
a
of for.
little internet thing, and
Are you still not on that stuff?
No, I've left it in the past. I'm past that now. I've completely changed who I am. So, but it was a little area of my life that I like to just kind of push the past a little bit.
So we talked a little bit already about your guys' relationship, but I was hoping we could dig a little bit deeper into that. So, right, you guys met, what was it, your freshman sophomore
freshman year. Yeah.
And I want to know Cam, talk about what it was like having Andrew block for you and Andrew blocking for Cam.
Man, I always joke with him and I tell him that I make him look good, and he jokes with me that he says that he makes me look good. But running behind a 6'5", 315-pound lineman is a pretty good deal. So I mean, anytime that we really needed a big play, I'm telling my coach, hey, let me run to Andrew's side,
right.
And because I feel like most of the time he's putting kids on their butt. So the kid's a dog. He's the type of guy that I want to be able to run behind. And there was also we had a really strong O line this year, and you know, being able to run behind like all of those guys, dude, they made my life so much easier.
I think we averaged like 6.5 yards a carry.
6.5
as a whole team. Yeah. But they were awesome this year, and being able to run behind them, and you know, them trusting me and me trusting them, it made everything flow so smoothly. And most of the times we were able to tote the rock on most of the teams that we played, and you know, that was what we did. We ran the ball, so being able to run behind Beef was it was a pretty good, having him on the left tackle. It was pretty nice.
I think the change from junior to senior year and like his overall run was like the biggest thing as an O lineman, because like junior year it was like, I'm gonna just do this and not think about like he would just bounce it outside and then he'd be like, oh man, I got tackled. But like senior year, I mean, he knew his three options, and one of the few backs I've ever seen that was built like him that actually like was willing to get up and get 3 yards in the cloud. But like complete flip from his junior year. He did not want to get hit his junior year, I feel like. But our O-line wasn't as good as, you know.
Right.
Yeah, our senior year line was that was the best line that I had. But it was, I would definitely say my jump from junior to senior year, it was like I knew gap schemes, but my junior to senior year, like actually like learning it and, you know, being able to apply it to my game as well. Like, because one thing, like you know where to run the ball, but when everything's happening so quick, it's hard to make those quick second decisions. And I think that was like my biggest change, being able to follow pulling guard and make a cut just like right off of it. Once that guy gets blocked, you're bouncing back and you're cutting it up into the A, B gap.
And I think the like what I was saying, like the biggest change was like when that didn't work, you didn't just bounce it outside. You learned to like.
I learned to trust them.
Yeah, and like knew what to do. And I think that was the biggest thing. Like we saw in the Reedy game, like when we didn't have you, it was a lot different. Like younger back didn't know that kind of stuff. And I think the kid that was running Mason, I think he'll be pretty solid.
Right. That kid's when I tell you, like that
one of the hardest workers I've ever.
Worker I've ever met in my life. That kid, he's like a robot. He just eats.
What grade is he in right now?
Breathes football.
He's a junior now.
He's going into his senior year. Okay. So I'm hoping that he can take some of the stuff that I taught him and apply it to his game, because I think that kid's got a lot of potential upcoming.
So when I was playing in school, I wasn't a lineman, but I was a blocking back, right? So all I did was block. And, I mean, there was just nothing worse than getting that hole wide open and then the running back just bumps it out to the outside. Yeah. But then again, there was nothing better than Right, because you don't know what's going on behind you. All you got to know, you're going to mess this kid up right in front of you. So once you got your job done and you just see your running back going down the field, I mean, there's nothing better than that.
I think there's a clip from North Union. I'm driving this kid down the field. I drive him down it's like number 1 or number 2 on highlight.
I know exactly which play you're talking about.
25 yards.
This kid 25, 30 yards down the field.
I pancake him,
It was so
and then
crazy.
I stand up and I just see Cam off the race. There's no one even close to him. I get up, I'm like, yes,
That's awesome.
let's go.
I'm going to have to throw that in there somewhere.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
That's probably one of my favorite plays because I was running it to his side.
Yeah.
And I just see him driving his guy. I'm still behind the line, and he's 10 yards down the field just bullying this kid.
Yeah.
And there was a couple guys that got through the A and B gap on that side. And so I had to step back and I reversed the field. So I'm running up the right sideline. He's pushing the guy down the left sideline 20 yards. And that play
Trying to beat you to the end zone.
Yeah, literally. That play was hectic, but honestly, that's
probably one of the longest
one of our
plays.
best highlights.
Yeah.
So it was sweet.
That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about this season, your guys' senior year. You guys went 7-3 overall and 3-2 in the conference. And I want to know what kind of the expectation was for your guys' last season.
We definitely had really high expectations coming in to the season.
I think especially us too. Us two specifically.
Yeah, so we had really, really high expectations for us. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, the goal is to go win a state chip.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't do that, but we worked really hard towards it. And the teams that we lost to, they were good games other than Bloom. Don't get me started on that. That was rough. But the London game, that was close. Bell Fountain, super close. And but we always have super high expectations. You can't go into a season without that, and otherwise you're not going to perform well.
Right.
But we thought that we could come out and we were going to make a huge run, but I ended up having my injury and it kind of messed up a lot of stuff. And, when I'm running the ball 25, 30 times a game and then I don't get to play week 10 or our first playoff game, it kind of definitely switched up our game plan a lot. So it was a little unfortunate, but, it happens.
Can we talk a little bit about your injury? When did that happen?
So we were playing against Bell Fountain, and I got through the first half, and I had already been having a shoulder. I separated my AC joint in our homecoming game against Urbana. And so I had been kind of struggling with that all year. My shoulder just bugging me, and when we got to play Bell Fountain, I was getting knocked up a little bit. My body was starting to actually feel it, and my shoulder was bugging me at the start. And then I come out into the second half, and I'm feeling good, and I go out, I bust a 60-yard run, and I go to stiff arm this whoever was trying to make the tackle on me. I think it was CJ. And my hand got I think caught on his face mask, and when I was pushing him down to the ground, my hand just snapped, and I just remember going back to the huddle, and he has
his glove on, and it's swollen up like that thick, and I'm like, oh god. But in the moment, I'm like, oh, suck it up.
In the moment, bro, I just had busted a 60-yard run. We're within the 5. It's a 1 touchdown game, and I come back to the huddle, and I'm like, y'all got I think my hand's broke. I can't. My hand it was hurting so bad, and
then you made the mistake of taking off the glove and looking at it.
Well, yeah. So I would finish out that drive, and I run the ball for the next 3-4 plays. But dude, my hand was just hurting so bad. I could not get in. It was just I couldn't. It felt like I just couldn't defend myself and get people off me, and I'll go back to the sideline. I go to my trainer. Shout out Joe. Joe Basso, that's my guy. So, but I go back to him, and I take off my glove, and he's checking it out, and he's like, man, I don't know if it'd be smart for you to go back in. He's like, I feel your bone moving around. I think it's displaced. And I was like, and it's our senior night. We're playing Bell Fountain,
That was your senior night?
Yeah, that was our senior night. And I'm like, man, I'm not going out like that. I told him, I said, I'm not going out like that. So I'm not going to say what I said. I got a good relationship with my trainer.
Yeah.
But I pretty much told him to wrap it up and go away. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
So he wraps it up, and pretty much I'm playing the rest of the game with a cast on my hand, and
So you finished off the game.
You caught a pitch and a pass.
yeah, I caught a pitch and a pass.
The first
they were trying
play-
to throw me the ball,
Yeah,
and I
first
was like,
play he goes back
how am I supposed to catch it? But I mean, it was after that. I mean, I went out there. I scored a touchdown after it, and
Wow.
But it was definitely a really hard thing to like overcome because dude, I was coming back to the huddle. Dude, I was in so much pain. I was crying back in the huddle, and dude, it was rough. But then I got done, and by the end of the game, dude, my hand was black, blue, purple, green. Dude, it was all it just
The
looked
rainbow,
bad.
yeah.
So I went to my trainer put me on with this surgeon. He does like a bunch of he's a like certified hand he does all just hand surgeries, and he does like a lot of the Ohio State guys if they got any hand injuries. So I got in with him the next day, and he ran X-rays on it, and found out that I had to have surgery. Surgery went super well. I have 9 screws and a plate in it. Dude, my hand, here's my scar right here. But my hand was completely snapped pretty much all the way across. But honestly, it was a struggle at first to come back from, but I mean, I'm stronger than I was before. I mean, I've been putting in so much work to just recover from it, and you know, it was a slow process at first, but eventually it got to the point to where it's like, all right, I can push myself a little bit, like I'm feeling all right, and you know, we've been making gains ever since. So
I remember sitting in film the next day, and we're like texting him like, hey, because when the next day you had your I'm like texting him like, hey, like what's going on, what we got, and he sends the picture of his X-ray. And it's literally from like here to here, just like snapped the whole night down. I'm like, no.
It was bad.
Yeah.
They gave me the option. They're like, all right, so we can cast you up and you can play for another week, but you're not going to be able to, so I would have got to play against Tecumseh for week 10, but I wouldn't have, they were like, we can't let it heal too much, otherwise we're going to have to re-break it. And because it was displaced, so if it starts healing, it's going to heal wrong, they'll have to re-break it and all this. So it was like, man, I just got to have the surgery now, which sucked because it's like, I felt like I was letting people down. You know, I didn't feel like I was just letting my team down. Like I felt like I was letting the whole town down. And you know, maybe I was looking at it too deep. But you know, that's like when you lose your season and football is like it feels like your number one priority. It's just like, dude, it feels like the whole world's crashing when an injury like that happens. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't anything, and it sucked having to sit over on the sidelines watching them play Reedy and not being out there to, you know, help them try and get that win, which I'm 100% sure we win that game if I'm playing 100%. And but you know, we're recovering, and you know, we're doing better now. So
how does it feel that it's all that because of a future teammate now?
Oh, yeah.
CJ
Dude,
committed to
CJ
Ashland.
Wilson. I'm super excited to play with CJ. That boy's a ball player.
Right.
Yeah. He's sweet, and no, I'm definitely super excited to have him on my team. So I'm going down. Maybe I'll see him next weekend because I'm going down for one of their spring ball games.
Okay,
and
cool.
so hopefully I'll see him down there. I'll see him around.
That's
It'll be
dope.
sweet.
So Andrew, will you tell me a little bit about how it felt to lose a pretty big player on the team?
So definitely sitting in film the next day after a loss, which already was not fun. Everybody's banged up, bruised up. Just thinking about, you know, everything that went wrong, some of the stuff that went right. Then you get a text message that your star running back won't be able to play for the playoffs and the Week 10 game. I mean, that's really just a total just gut punch. So dealing with that, it was definitely like trying to get everybody like, hey, we're going to try and figure something out. The season's not completely over. But it was a rough 2 weeks of like trying to get everything to run somewhat smoothly, and I think our coaches did a good job of like keeping everybody in, like with hopes, you know.
Right.
Everybody was still giving their, you know, full effort, like it's your senior year, junior year, whatever. And I think with what we had and like how quickly we had to change everything, I think we did, you know, a pretty solid job.
They did a good job. Like the way that they held with Reedy was, I mean, I so thought we were gonna win that game.
Yeah.
But you know, I played the role, and when I was hurt, you know, I stepped in the same role that his older brother gave me when he got hurt.
Right.
He was like, come in, teach the younger back. teach them how to like just further their knowledge of the game, and so that's what I tried to do for Mason. And dude, he went out there, and he balled. That kid played so hard, and I'm so proud of that kid. But he started applying a lot of the stuff that I was telling him, and he ran the ball pretty well. He put up over 100 yards against Reedy.
Yeah.
So,
and I think if it was a week 6 injury, it's a completely different story than a week 9 injury. I think the having just like a week before the playoffs, I mean, you're really kind of screwed. Like, you don't have enough time to really teach somebody new position, or get some. He was already playing both ways. Yeah. So
we were plagued with a lot of injury this year. We weren't very deep in our linebacker positions, and just it felt like every week that it was just something new. Like somebody was going down, and
it sucks when it's just completely out of your control.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because you didn't work hard enough. It's because you didn't pay attention. It's not because you didn't study your plays. It just
happens, man. It's part of the game, but you know what? It's part of it.
And I think you're better from it.
Of course.
Some of that stuff happening.
Yeah.
Did it hurt a little bit more knowing, just because you guys are so close?
Yeah, it was definitely like watching my friend get hurt. It was hard to like yell at him and tell him to suck it up.
Yeah.
I could see the pain in his eyes in the huddle. I'm like, man, this is like for real.
I know, because I've had times where I'm like, where I come back and I'm like, I'm just hurting, like I'm getting banged up in the game. So like running backs, it's a taxing position.
Yeah.
And but most of the time, Beef can yell. He can yell at me, get on me a little bit. He can.
And I think
stop being Saul.
Yeah, I think it's the same for both of us.
But yeah.
There was definitely some times where I was, I got rolled up on. I'm like, oh, this hurts, and he's like, go out there and pancake something. Like, do your job.
Right.
Yep.
Which is good to have.
But that's a good thing about our relationship. We can be hard on each other, and we don't take things personal. We know that everything's out of good meaning, and it's out of love. So it's definitely a plus to have.
Well, it seems like it worked because you guys very successful on the football field, and now playing for the same college.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. We're about to be roommates.
That's awesome. So I want to take it back a little bit. I want to talk about the first, second, and third game, right? So the first 2 games, you guys blow the other team out of the water. Easy, right?
Yeah.
And you guys go into the third game. You guys don't score a single point. So just kind of talk about what that felt like and just kind of what the lesson learned was.
Well, every year that we've played Bloom, other than I would say my sophomore year, dude, it's
a whole new animal.
Yeah, they're a really, really good team, and I think that I don't even know what it was like. Every time that we played them, we just haven't been able to get anything going. And honestly, I think a lot of people hear the name, and then like when we had to play against Andrew Marshall, his senior year, that kid was crazy. And I honestly think some people get nervous. You're on the field, and sometimes you got guys that'll be lazy every once in a while. And I don't want to say any of my guys were, but sometimes when you're playing a team like that, not everybody was giving 100% effort. And honestly, I think it wasn't just a single person thing; it was a collective thing. And I think that we got in our own heads. And
we had guys that went into it and thinking they were going to lose, and I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you, before the game, dude, Coach Kyle had me ready to run through a brick
one of the greatest pregame speeches I've ever had.
Greatest pregame speech ever, dude. We're so lit in the locker room. Yeah. We're going crazy before we walk out. Our walkout, sweet, and then we step on the field and just everything just changed.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it also like we threw the ball, but we don't throw the ball a lot. And that's kind of what we needed to beat that team. And we just don't really throw the ball, and they got a great run defense, so they shut us down, and we didn't really have an answer for it. So it happens, but I would love to be able to get back out there and replay those games and try and get a win out of those. But
what would you guys say to those younger athletes, or even your the players you guys already played with, your teammates? You can't go into a game thinking you're going to lose, because if that's the mindset, it's already over. So just kind of talk about having. You just can't have that mindset.
I'll tell anybody on the team, you got to play with confidence. If you're not playing with a little bit of confidence or a lot of confidence and a little bit of swagger, and you're just not like you're just not thinking highly of yourself. Like you got to be able to think like that, because a lot of football, a lot of it's just mental, and just being able to go out there and push yourself that extra 10% and just know what you're actually capable of, like going up against somebody else, and confidence is just like the biggest thing. And you know, because if you feel like that you're gonna play better, then you're going to.
Right.
And I think that's like a big thing, and I've always thought that way.
I think mine's a little different because I'm in the trenches.
Yeah.
Mine's more I want to like personally hurt the person across from me, and I think my sophomore year, like there's people talk about a switch that you have or you don't have, and I don't think I had that sophomore year because I was 6'2", 275 maybe, and pretty strong, but I just didn't have that like. That,
just killer mode.
Yeah, just go out there. I'm gonna hurt you, like mindset.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely switched. And even now, like I have not now, but like even the junior senior year, I had a hard time certain games, like trying to like get myself into that mindset. But in some games, you just had like a personal motive to go out. And certain people, you're like,
sometimes you gotta make it personal.
Yeah.
If it's more personal, you're gonna want to play harder.
Yeah,
so that's how I look at it every week. Like it's a personal thing when you're on the field, and you're out there for 60 minutes. It's a war. It's gonna be personal. So take it personal.
Yeah.
So what do you think that thing was that made you flip?
So my brother was a senior my sophomore year, and I just remember like not being able to play with him, and that really like drove me nuts.
Bugged you, yeah.
And so all of his friends in his grade used to pick on me nonstop for not playing or whatever. And that just, I was like, all right, watch this.
Yeah.
And we finally got the chance.
I love that.
Yeah. And I remember going into my sophomore year, I was like, man, like, I know going into my junior year, sorry. If I really, put it out there this year, I might be able to get first team CBC.
Yeah.
And then I got first team CBC. Actually, over a kid that was kind of my mentor, Aiden Burke. He was like the guy who taught me a lot of the stuff I knew.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking like, wow, like this is the greatest thing ever. I'm never gonna be able to accomplish anything else. That's good. It's good as this.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting first team district and being like, oh my, I'm
better.
insane.
Yeah.
And then I got second team All Ohio with Cam, and I'm like, I could retire now. Like, I'm good. Like, so I just remember feeling like that and like being so like it was finally like I had gotten paid for everything I had put in work.
Yeah, those accolades mean something.
Yeah.
So it's always a good feeling, and it always pushes you a little harder, pushes you a little farther, because you want more.
Of course. So I want to go in and talk a little bit about the Linden game. Very, very high scoring, 57 to 48. So just kind of talk about that game and just kind of, you guys unfortunately didn't win it. So just kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So, oh man. The week before that game, that was the week that I separated my shoulder.
Okay.
I didn't practice that whole week.
You didn't practice?
I didn't practice that whole week.
Yeah.
And I was in, like, I'd come out for, like, I wouldn't be out there for, like, our defensive practices. Because I'd be in the trainer's office. I'm trying to, like, get my shoulder strengthened up. Because I had, like, a mild separation in my shoulder. And, so I didn't practice that whole week until like Thursday.
Yeah, the walkthrough.
And then I just got to do like the walkthrough, and I got out for like the offensive practices and just watched and made sure I knew the game plan.
Yeah.
And I went out to dinner with my grandpa the night before, and I just remember we went over to the Top Steakhouse over in Bexley, and the place is really good if you've never been there. And we sat down, we had a good dinner, and I just remember we prayed super hard that just I would get out healthy. And because I was nervous, if I'm being real, I was nervous. I knew London was a tough team. You know, they had beat us the previous years, and it was always a tough game. And it's going into it, no practice, injury. It's a nervous feeling. And I just remember we prayed super hard, and I got to school the next day, and man, I just had my headphones in all day. I didn't do anything. I was just so locked in, and. I got to our field house a little, like 30 minutes earlier than I usually did. I prayed again, and when I got there, I just remember Coach Kyle coming up to me, who's our running back coach and our offensive coordinator, and he came up to me. He's like, "Cam, there's not a single other player that I've ever coached that I would trust with the game in their hands." And all I said was just, "Yes, sir." I went out on the field, and dude, it just felt like something different was in the air.
Yeah.
It was just. dude, it just felt like everything that could have gone. Like we went out, we got stopped our first drive. They went down, they scored. And then the next drive, I had like a 60-yard like little screen pass that I took all the way down, scored, and then I scored a couple other times in the first half, and it was just constant back and forth. And then we come out into the second half, and that's when everything really like started going right.
Yeah.
I started the second half off with like a 6-yard run, and then I had like a 65-yard touchdown. And then the first play of the next drive, I had like a 80-yard touchdown. And then the first play of the next drive, I had like another 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the craziest thing ever. Like, it just like, it like felt like something was just like guiding me to the end zone. And, I ended up putting up another one at the end. And we ended up tying, like about to tie the game up if we kicked the extra point. But we ended up choosing to go for 2. And like I said, we don't really throw the ball. And we chose to throw the ball on the 2-point conversion, and we didn't convert it. But, stuff happens. They get the ball back. They went down. They scored. And, that was that. But it was the best game I've ever played in my life, and I'll say that confidently. But it's a little bit of a sore feeling just because, there's a loss behind it. And, London and us we're rivals. So there's bad blood there. And, so it stings definitely a little bit more.
Yeah. How does it feel, when he's putting up these big numbers? I mean, you're a big contribution to that, so just kind of talk about that.
So I just remember going out there and, it almost felt like electric. It was, one of the craziest atmospheres I've ever been in. And we're away, and I remember, a couple of, I had been the third or fourth drive when we finally got a score. I just remember pushing, the entire line was 6.5 yards down the field, and you see Cam just gone, and you're like, it's finally happened. Stuff started clicking.
Right.
And I think, our O-line played one of the best games we've played all year.
They did.
How many yards did you have that at the end of the game?
I want to say I had 369 rushing on 26 carries, and then I had another 40 receiving yards, so I put up 400 yards on them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it just... Dude, that game was just crazy. It really was.
Yeah. And their student section's down on the field. And I remember driving in the one time, and they're just ripping us apart. Everything you could ever think of that was mean, they would say to you. It was crazy.
It's true.
And one of the drives, we're driving down, we're doing pretty good, and I do a backside technique, and I get just rolled up on. And my ankle swells up like this big.
No. How into the game were you guys already?
That was before half.
Yeah, that was probably second quarter.
Right. Yeah, and I go over to the trainer, and we exchanged similar words to what Cam and him did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he just, probably 6 pounds of tape, just cinching it down. I was spatted up. Then I went back out there, and I had no ankle mobility, and you just tough it out. It was definitely one of the more not fun parts of it, but
right.
Even though there is a little bit of a sore feeling behind it, I think that we can still look at it as now that we're past it, and him and I are gonna go play college ball, we can look back on it, and it was a really fun game, and honestly, it does feel good because nobody thought, we talked to people at our school, nobody thought that we'd even have a chance. They thought we were they thought we were going to get blown out, and we went out and we showed that, we play ball too. It's not just fun and games around here. We mean business too, and that was definitely, even though we lost, but it was a good feeling.
I think that was a big thing for our program with our new head coach because the previous 2 years we had never, I don't remember what the scores were, but it was a lot to nothing. 2 years back to back, and this was the first year we finally put a dent in or a chink in there, finally
right.
We finally got somewhere with them, and I think that was a big thing. Same thing with Bellefontaine. The previous year was 27-0, right?
What, when we played Bellefontaine?
Yeah.
No, it was
the junior year was.
It was closer than that. We did. I scored against him. What are you talking about?
27-7 then.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we beat him sophomore year though.
Yeah,
sophomore year.
Yeah, sophomore year.
We beat him that game sophomore year.
And then junior year, I actually got in a car wreck right before. I told him my sister's car got rear-ended by one of our teammates.
Yeah, that was rough. We weren't sure what we were gonna do about that.
Yeah.
He was right outside the school, and I just remember getting a phone call. Hey, Beef just got in a car accident. I'm just freaking out. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was driving and I stopped, and then one of our teammates didn't hit his brakes and just plowed right through the back of me into another car, and
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's not
Did
good.
you get hurt by it? Or were you
No,
okay?
I was just bruised and banged up. I smacked my forehead off the steering wheel pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when was what you said it was before something? Well, like before what?
That was
Right before the
one of
football
our
game.
football games.
Right.
So we got out of school at 2:30. I went to go get my Subway, and as I'm going, I get in a car wreck. And then we had to. My dad had to come pick me up from where my car got wrecked and drive me back to the school so that I could get on the bus.
Get on the bus and get to the game.
They packed my bags for me because I was so late. It was crazy.
Were you and that friend still pretty cool to this
Yeah,
day?
me and Wyatt, yeah, we're tight.
Yeah, Wyatt he was one of our captains.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's the most nicest, most pure
Yeah.
person that you would ever meet in your
Okay,
life.
cool.
He's the coolest guy.
Yeah.
So already we're just kind of talking about all the things that people don't even realize go on behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
All they see is a logo, a name, a football
Yeah.
team, 11 players on each side, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like you guys did pretty good for you not practicing all week, and then your big guy over here got hurt before the half.
A little
so
banged up, yeah.
I mean, it just sucks, man. But it just
It happens,
It's
man.
life.
It's
Yeah.
football. You know, you're not going to win every single game that you play. And, you know, there's always going to be a team out there that can beat you.
Right.
And it's just,
And
you got to put in the work to beat them.
This year felt like the first year since my sophomore or freshman year that we had like the guys to do something, and it just felt like every week we were just losing somebody. Somebody was hurt, you know.
Yeah, I felt like sophomore year we would have been a lot better, but I think just having a new head coach come in,
Right.
like
And he came in late.
Me and Sned, we came in at the same time. That was when I came in to Alder. So him and me and Coach Sned, we got a really good relationship, and he built a really strong bond with us since he pretty much had us for 3 years, and sophomore year was a little shaky at the start. I didn't get my first start until like week 4, and we started off 0-3, and then I got my first start at running back.
Didn't you play
week 4, and then we went 6-1 from there.
DB?
I was playing DB. Yeah.
What was that first or second week? You just drilled that kid, and I remember being
Oh
like,
yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
think that's
about.
kinda when everybody
that was our very first game. My
Was
very
that,
first game at Alder. We were playing Amanda Clear Creek, and dude, we hadn't scored a whole touchdown. We didn't score a touchdown in the whole first half, and we're getting beat by Amanda Clear Creek. Like, we weren't feeling too confident. And I go out, I caught a kick return, and I took it back to the house, and that was my very first touchdown. And it was my first game ever, so I'm like hyped up. And then I remember Coach Brink and rest in peace, Coach Brink. We lost one of our coaches, and he used to give out a pair of socks for the hardest hit of the game. And I had the hardest hit of the game.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
it was crazy.
pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet.
And I think that's when people kind of started realizing like he's not just a TikTok.
I'm not just no TikTok. I play ball too. I'm a ball player before a TikToker.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Let's get into the Bellefontaine game. You guys lose that game, another close game, 28-23. I know we already talked about your injury, but just kind of dig a little deeper into that. How close was it, like towards that end? Was it always close, or was there a moment where they were up, or were you guys always back to back?
They started out.
Yeah, they started out up. I think they were up. Was it 14 or 21?
They were up like 14-0, and we went down. We scored, and then we brought the game within a touchdown.
Yep.
And that was when it was within a touchdown. I want to say that was when I had that 60-yard run, and that was when I broke my hand, and we got within the 5, and I wasn't able to really do anything from there.
Was that the game you had a big receiving touchdown?
No, that would have been Buckeye Valley.
Oh, they all get mixed up sometimes.
Buckeye Valley. That was one of my best games ever.
Yeah, we had a chance to win it at the end. Wait, hold on. We were gonna win or tie it.
We were going down to tie. We were going down to tie the game.
Yeah, and we chose a slide protection. I did not care for, and I may have given up a sack.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The only sack he gave up all year. Only sack. It was
Yeah.
all right. It happens.
Against Hayden Mans.
Right.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
that
One of the
kid-
craziest kids I've like.
I will admit that man is a dog.
Yeah, absolute demon on the field.
Do you guys know him personally, or just
Yeah, so I
don't
kind
know
of
him
know him.
personally, but-
So my buddy, I was buddy with Owen Larson. He transferred to Bellefontaine, and I was up there for his signing day. He's going to play baseball.
Cool.
And me and Hayden got to talking, just joking around. And I was like, "Yeah, you're one of the like craziest athletes I've ever had to block." And he was like, "Yeah, like you're one of the best linemen I went against." And I was like, "Yeah." So after the game,
There's mutual respect
Yeah,
there,
now it's mutual respect, but during and right after the game, there was some.
Man, that's pretty cool to have those types of relationships.
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
where
for
you guys
sure.
can just kind of give each other that type of respect.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, after dude, I go back and I talk to like a lot of the guys like Zach Jones and a lot of those guys around the league where it's like you beef during the season, but now that it's all over, there's no point to it anymore.
Right.
So might as well just be cool and have fun and talk about it. So
I don't think we got that as much our junior year. Like, I remember after the junior year talking more smack than ever. And like all summer, I'm like, oh, we're coming for you. And then, it's finally over. You're done with high school football. And I think everybody kind of has that same,
just kind of come together kind of thing.
You all miss the same.
Yeah, because you pretty much experienced the whole thing together, basically. Where did he end up committing to?
I think he's doing DeQuest or Duquesne. Sorry.
Is that D2?
I think they're D1.
D1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is where he's going. Yeah, they're D1.
So let's get into that playoff game then. Again, just another close loss. Dude, 14 to 10.
Our 3 losses, man. We're horrible. They were close.
The playoff game, going into it, I just remember thinking like losing. We don't have Cam, and not even like Cam's running ability, but Cam's personality on the field,
presence,
leadership,
presence, and just knowing like he's gonna make the best out of whatever holes there.
Right.
So going into it, everybody's a little stressed out, but
you guys played well.
Yeah, we played probably one of our better games that we played,
especially defensively, because they were playing against Contrell Reinhardt, who was me and him. We were kind of like switching between like Ohio's leading rusher. It was always him and I. We were like 1 and 2. Yeah. Which I wish I would have played that game. It would have been so fun just having the Ohio's 2 leading rushers go at it. But they shut him down. I mean, they held him to I think less than 100 yards.
Yeah, we had some like major mishap plays that turned into big plays for them. We snapped the ball over our QB's head into the end zone for a touchdown for them, which was a total momentum killer.
That one bad snap doesn't happen, we win that game. But one bad snap doesn't happen, we win that game.
To give the center credit, that kid plays baseball, plays football, one of the greatest kids I've ever met, like just as a person.
Yeah.
Goes all year, doesn't have a bad snap, gets in his head a little bit in his first playoff game, and I could see it in his face going into that game. I'm like, oh man, like he's freaked himself out. Man. And I just knew it was gonna happen. But I mean, to give him like after that, no, not really any bad snaps, and blocked his butt off.
Right. Gantz is a hard worker. He was a really good center, and he played a pretty big role on our line this year. So he developed a lot over the whole season. And
like sophomore year, getting pushed around, like not being big enough to be out there, should not have been out there. and then junior year being like, he's
probably one of the best linemen in the CBC, 100%.
So, your season finished a little bit earlier, so you didn't get to really experience that with everybody else. But Andrew, what was kind of that feeling of knowing like this is the final game I'm playing for Jonathan Alder?
So, going into the game, it was everybody was a little worried, but I think I remember at halftime specifically being like, wow, like we're in this, like we could win this like right here, like if we show up there and we keep playing like we're playing, we're gonna win this game. And they drove down and they kicked a field goal, or went to kick a field goal, and I actually blocked it.
Yeah, I remember. Wow. That was crazy.
And then we go to kind of try and score, and I don't remember, we had like maybe 30 seconds on the clock. So we don't pass a lot, and we're trying to pass the ball. And it just, nothing was clicking, and then we threw a pick. Younger quarterback, first-year quarterback, But love the kid to death.
Grant was, he was awesome this year.
Absolute, like just a crazy year. One of the best athletes we had on our team. And, after that, you get to talk to all your coaches, and it was kind of, junior year, it was like bittersweet, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be back, but it's going to be a while. Senior year, it was like,
It's over.
It's over. Yeah. And I think yours was a little different because you got to, you had a couple weeks. But mine, it was like, going into that, I didn't think it was my last week. I thought we could win this. And then, like, that clock hit 0, and you're just like, wow, like, it's over. And I remember going up to Coach Kyle and, like, talking to him, and he was like, I loved coaching you. I love coaching your brother. Like, you guys, you put in, your blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and it it's finally over.
Yeah. I definitely had a different kind of ending. It was, I mean, just knowing that it's over because of an injury, and you got to go out and you got to watch the last 2 games we played. It's a very crappy feeling, but you know what? You can't show everyone that it's like bothering you because you still get like I said, I was a leader on that team. I had to come out and I had to be positive about it,
Right.
and honestly, just having to put on that act that you know what, I'm acting positive about it, and I'm encouraging these guys. You know, it helps, and
I think you got a kind of a taste of that with Will. Like you knew what to do, and you know, you did not just mope around and be like, "Oh, my season's over." Like,
Right.
yeah, like I was still showing up to practice every day, and anything that I could help with, I was gonna help with.
Yeah.
If I'm not in pads, you know what, I'm a player coach. So,
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was doing.
I can definitely relate to that because my senior year I tore my ACL and MCL. And my season ended, I think, like week 6, so I missed like 4 games, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really get to experience that feeling of like I'm on the field and I get to experience it with my teammates.
Yeah.
So I can kind of feel that. And again, I remember I was definitely like in practices now. I was definitely louder than the coaches. I was just really hard on the teammates and stuff. So I can definitely relate to that feeling. And I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Oh no, man, it's all right. You know what? Hey, God's got a plan for me,
Right.
and you know what? It's just part of it. And there was a lesson learned out of it, and you know, it happens. It's life. So
For sure.
I'm not gonna hang my head about it anymore. You know, I already hung my head about it a little bit when it happened, and now it's about just getting better and getting ready for college ball. Because,
Right.
you know, that's a completely different animal, and you know, I want to come in and I want to be the best guy there. So
Of course.
now I'm back to business, and that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, like you said, God's got a plan, man, because like that was definitely saying it's weird, but snapping my knee was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it led me to where I am today, where I have all this
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna happen out of
Exactly.
it. So
And I think being positive about it and like looking at all your options, you know, it might close this door, but there might be 30 other doors it opens.
Right, and it was at
Exactly.
the perfect time too.
Yeah.
It just happens for a reason. Right?
yeah.
So I want to talk a little. So the season's over now. Talk a little bit about your recruitment process, because Cam, like I said, I was listening to that podcast, and you mentioned that your recruitment process was all over the place.
Yeah.
So just kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Man, I was getting it was just kind of all over the place. There was a lot of schools that, you know, were texting me, and a lot of schools, like I would have, like, especially like Toledo, I don't want to like diss on their program or anything, because they're a great program, and I really liked Coach Karras and all the guys around there, because that's where I wanted to go, and they kept acting like they were going to offer me. And then there was a lot of schools that just kept acting like they were going to offer me, and they just dragged me along. I go to all the camps, all the visits, and I do all this stuff, and it was like nobody was pulling the trigger. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go play JUCO, and because I started getting some JUCO offers, and so because I wanted to go play D1 ball,
Right.
and so I was gonna take the JUCO route, and I got offered out to Dodge City out in Kansas, and they're in like the top JUCO league in the country. Like if you want to go play JUCO ball and you want to get out of it, that's where you go. So
Okay.
I got in contact with Coach Geyser, Coach Cordell, and Coach Nikolai over at Ashland, and Beef was he had been putting in a good, if it wasn't for Beef, I don't even know if I'd be at Ashland, but he's putting a good word into me the whole time. And like he's like, hey,
So
you
were
guys.
they not even looking at you at
So
first?
I had gone to a couple of their camps, but I hadn't really had like a whole lot of interest in going to Ashland,
Right.
and like I said, like my recruiting process was all over the place, and you know, he was always putting in a good word for me over there. So when I was like, man, I need to find a school to go to, and he was like, all right, well, come to a visit at Ashland with me, and so we go there, and man, I loved it there. All the coaches there, like it's a really cool program. They got some really nice facilities and all that, and it felt like they weren't just dragging me along, and that they actually wanted me there.
Right.
Which I wasn't getting from a lot of these other schools, and which I don't understand necessarily why, but you know, it's what it is. But you know, I committed to Ashland after that, and man, I'm super excited to go there. But, after having like an offer pool, just being dragged along by a bunch of schools that said they wanted me, but then don't really show that they want me.
Right.
It was kind of frustrating. But, now, I'm going to end up at a place where, I'm going to enjoy being at. I'm going to be with one of my best friends. So
It's crazy how it works out.
I know. It's wild. Now,
So,
his
yeah.
was
Mine
definitely
was a lot different. I got offered from them. They were my first offer and like my only offer there for a while.
Okay.
And I think I was supposed to go there the entire time, but I was talking to other schools, going to other camps.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it kind of came down to the time, like where I needed to decide to go, I went on an official visit, and they like laid out all my scholarships and laid out all that stuff. And there was no like, oh, we gotta wait on this guy. Oh, we gotta wait on this guy. It was like, this is exactly what you're getting. This is what we want out of you, and this is where we want you 3, 5, whatever years. And then the biggest thing that they said is like, if you play football for 4 years, you use all 4 years of your eligibility, and you want to go get your master's, they were talking about like your money's going to get matched. Like no matter if you're on the football team or not, Coach Geiser wants you to graduate like as the best possible position you want to be. Like,
yeah.
And I think that was like one of the things where it was like, he doesn't just want us to be good football players. He wants us to be good humans.
Yeah, just good people.
And I didn't feel like I got that in a lot of other areas or a lot of other places. And he's never said anything that's like been false. And I think that's a little harder to find in the recruiting process. And that was like probably my final straw. I was like, all right, I'm going there.
I had a couple other D2 offers. Like I had one from Limestone, but then I like there was a school called Alderson Broadus where we had a teammate commit to, and their whole football program got shut down. I heard the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I heard the same thing was kind of happened towards Limestone. That's out in South Carolina. They're
Okay.
D2. I had an offer from Wheeling. I know one of the other running backs there. He went to Pick North. His name's DeJuan. But I had an offer from them. But they weren't offering me as much money as Ashland was too. And at the end of the day, like I still got to pay some to go to school. So I'm gonna go where I can, have a cheaper college. So if
Right.
it gets expensive, man, I'm not trying to be in debt for a long time.
Yeah. So can you guys just talk about how excited you guys are to be playing with each other again, and just kind of what you guys expect?
Man, I'm gonna hate being roommates
Yeah, I'm
with
not
this
gonna be
guy.
excited at all.
I'm not excited.
Wait, why is that?
Nah, I'm playing, man. We're just messing.
We like to bicker.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited for it. I think that, especially him and I having each other down there, this guy's like my brother. Like,
Right.
if we need a little kick in the butt, just like get ourselves in check. Like we can keep each other in check, and then also being able to play football together. Man, it's awesome being able to play with him again. I loved playing the last 3 years on the field with him, and he was awesome to run behind. So I don't have a problem running behind him for another 4 years.
And my family, my mom's side, my grandparents all live up there, and they farm up there, and that's 25 minutes away from the campus. So I think our transition, I'll get him into that country boy life.
Right.
Put him
Get
out
off
on the farm. But yeah, I grew up going up to the lake every weekend, so I think that'll be fun.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited for that, and I think going into a good program like this, our bodies are gonna change. We're gonna get a lot better.
Yep.
Be the best football players we can be.
But we'll be down there pretty much Sunday nights, Monday mornings, and Thursday nights and Friday mornings, pretty much all through the summer. It's not mandatory for freshmen to go up there, but we're gonna go up there pretty much all summer on those days to do all their summer workouts. That's just so we get our feet on the ground over there.
And I think it'll make our transition a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Because I'm a big homebody.
Build more of a relationship with some of the players that we're gonna play with, the coaches, and just being able to get out there and get working. So I'm super excited for that because I think him and I mean, we both want to be able to come in and make an impact like immediately. Like that's our goal.
Right.
So, being able to get out there this summer is going to be a huge thing for us.
We're almost out of time, but I just got a few more questions for you guys. I want to talk about what the sport of football has taught you and how it's prepared you for your next stages of life.
Mm-hmm. So football, dude, it's taught me so much. It's taught me, one, how to be a good friend, a good leader. It's taught me discipline, hard work, effort, because football, I mean, you're surrounded by so many people that, you know, are willing to, like I said, football it's not just a game, it's like a war out there, and you know, all those guys alongside you are brothers, and that's how you got to treat them. And you know, being able to get after it every single day with all those guys, and you know, it really teaches you a lot. So, and I think hard work and just being able to, like, just be disciplined. You know, I always say, like, motivation, you're not always going to have motivation, and a lot of it's going to come down to discipline. I think that's a important thing that I think a lot of people need to learn, and because you're not always going to feel motivated to get up and get after it every day. But the people who are disciplined, I mean, those are going to be the guys that, you know, get after it no matter what. Like, you know what, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to, because I need to, and I'm going to get better from it. And I think that was the biggest thing that football has taught me. And it's took me places. I mean, I got to go to Florida and play an All-American game because of football. And I mean, it's been an awesome journey, and I'm excited to be able to do it for the next 4 years. So
that's awesome.
It's taught me a lot.
Mine, I would say work ethic was definitely the biggest thing for me, because it wasn't only just football, but like football on top of the 10 other things you're doing, and trying to like be the best you can at that while, you know, having a job, doing 4-H, like all that stuff, like, and learning to like work hard. I think that was one of the biggest things it taught me. You know, you're not always just gonna be given stuff. You gotta like go out there and get what you want, and I think that was one of the crucial things it taught me. And definitely like I'm slipping on my words here. The brotherhood we got between all us guys. Like, I still talk to all those guys now. Like, even there was kids, you know, that weren't even like in the program, that like, you know, they just want to be a part of it because that like it was just so
close.
Yeah. Like with all the guys, and I think that seeing that now versus like when we were in it, like looking back on it, you're like, wow, like that was really something like big that we had.
And it's awesome, like, the impact it makes on, like, the younger generation.
Yeah,
like,
today.
Literally today, when I was on my way to go pick him up, I saw some kids on the side of the road, and like in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they had like a little stand going up, so I rolled on my window. I was like, "What you guys selling?" And they were selling lemonade, and so I threw them a couple extra bucks on what it was, but told them to split it up. But they're like, "Cam, you gonna be at football camp next year?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm going to college." But it's awesome that, like, you know, I get to like even the younger kids know me, and they were able to get out and see that, and you know, just doing something nice for them today, and it's cool to kind of like inspire all the younger guys, and especially when they know who you are. So gives you a
I'm a 6th grade camp counselor. I was last year, and I'll be this year, and going to 6th grade camp, and you know, hanging out with kind of that younger group, and then playing games, and those kids come up to you after the game, and they're like, "Hey, like, you're the kid you were my 6th grade camp counselor. You're
That's
basically
awesome.
in the NFL right now." Like, just getting to see that, it was definitely like pretty cool.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times that, you know, it's been the end of the game, and I got 10 little kids just coming up to me asking for autographs, and just like they think you're like the coolest thing ever. And you know, I remember being in that position when I was younger, and like while I was at West Jeff, there was this running back, his name was Gabe Jones. Gabe Jones was awesome, man. One of the best running backs I've ever seen. And dude, I just thought he was the coolest person ever. And you know, to be in that position for like the younger generation, it's super cool, and puts a little more weight on your shoulders, and you know, you got a reputation to uphold. And I think that's another huge thing that football's taught me. You know, you got, like, when you got a reputation, you got to uphold it, and that's a really important thing. So it's always important just to be like a good person because you never know who's around. So.
Right. And it seems like you guys are doing a great job of that, man.
Yeah,
Just listening to those stories is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you ever have like yours was Gabe Davis?
Gabe Jones?
Or Gabe Jones, sorry. Was he ever like? Did you like think he was like 12 foot tall and like?
Nah, because he really wasn't that tall.
Really?
Dude, I've been this height since I was in like 7th grade. Bro. Like, I was always like so much bigger than everybody else, and especially in middle school, dude. I mean, I've just gotten bigger, but I've been the same height.
I remember.
I was able to look him in his eyes when I was in middle school.
I remember 7th and 8th grade year. I was water boy, and there was this kid named Blake Caldwell, and he was a junior then senior those 2 years. And I thought he was 8 foot tall, going to the NFL,
Right.
and then I getting to play and being in that position and seeing like, oh wow, like
Now you're that guy.
Yeah,
Now you're that guy.
And I see him now, and he's like, man, like, how you been? And I was like, you remember me?
That's awesome.
It's just cool.
Right. So talking about the younger generation, what would you guys say to your younger teammates coming up? What's some advice you would give to them, or just any young athlete?
I would say just show up every day, and no matter what, just get everything that you do. Just give it your all, because you're not gonna lose anything by giving your all with the stuff that you do. And that's just learning a good work ethic, and learning how to play confident, and just being a good person. I think that's the 3 things that I will always tell the younger guys. Just that's what you got to do, and you know what, you'll succeed if you do those 3 things. So I try to look out for a lot of the younger guys, especially in the program, but I just try and teach them, a good work ethic, and I hope that they can see that by, like, when I'm in the weight room and I'm pushing myself as hard as I can, or if I'm out on the field and I'm, just getting after it. So I think that's important for them to learn.
I think mine would be more like, it's not always gonna be perfect. It's not gonna go exactly the way you want it, but if you truly care about the sport and you put everything you have into it, and this carries over to life, and this probably goes back to the things it's taught me, just knowing that, like, if you do everything in your power, then at the end of the day you can, like, you sit back and be like, okay, like,
yeah, I did what I could.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that my dad used to tell me, if you cry after a game, then you didn't give it everything you have.
Oh man,
back in the day,
I know all
that
about
was my youth football.
Yeah.
And it does make sense, but I mean, obviously it's different when, like, senior year. But
yeah.
And he was a little more understanding. I guess not understanding, but he knew what it was like. So.
Yeah.
Man, I really, really appreciate both of you guys coming on today.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you having
guys,
us.
A lot of energy, and I love it, man. And
man.
so I asked Cam to come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very, very happy that you asked me if he could come with you as well.
Yeah.
So, man, it's just been a pleasure to get to know you guys, and I'm definitely going to be keeping up with your guys' football journey.
For sure, man. Hey, we really appreciate you having us on. We had a great time, and I appreciate you letting him to come on with me.
Of course,
we're a package deal. We're all together now.
It's probably one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man. I love to hear that.
It's super
Crazy
cool.
stuff.
Super cool.
All right, boys.
All right.
Alrighty.
That's all.